We're gonna start the Mooncalf creature quest. Your message sounded urgent. I'd like to introduce you to someone. Chit. Actually, I've met this Mooncalf before. Glad to hear it's making friends already. Found this little beast in the field after the last full moon. Poor thing was all on its own. Don't see them around much. They only come out of the burrows at night and only for the full moon. In that case, why was this Mooncalf alone? That's a long story. Why don't you spend some time with the Mooncalf and I'll tell you what happened. I've heard the Muggle farmer talking about strange patterns in her field. She thought some space creatures were sending a message, but when I went to check, poor beast was all alone and I didn't want any Muggles spotting it, so I brought it back to the Hogwarts. The journey isn't over yet. Mooncalfs aren't meant to be alone. That's why it needs your help to join a herd. I know a herd that dances in the Forbidden Forest every full moon. They may be willing to take it in. Trouble is, I can't figure out why it was on its own in the first place. Like I said, you don't see them around very often aside from the full moon. They never leave the burrows. Good idea. Then it's settled. I'll take the Mooncalf to care for magical creatures. I see you brought a guest. Is this the handsome Mooncalf, the one Hagrid mentioned? I've named it Mooncalf. Weak, it's quite shy. Mooncalfs are retiring and reclusive creatures. They rarely interact with humans at all. In the Muggle farmer's field, he said it was all by itself. That's rather unusual. Wants me to help the Mooncalf join the herd in the Forbidden Forest, but first I need to know why the Mooncalf doesn't have a herd. Fortunately, I've got to feed the fire crabs before my next lesson, and it will take at least half an hour to find the food, so I must get started. Perhaps the Mooncalf and I can help. I shall tell you everything you need to know. Excellent work. Thanks to you, the fire crabs will eat like noble beasts they are. What about Mooncalf? Can you tell me why it's on its own? I took the opportunity to observe your friend, and I believe the most plausible explanation for the Mooncalf's solitude would be rejection from its herd. Mooncalf's family abandoned it on purpose. Why would they do something like that? In some instances, the parent cannot care for the offspring. Other times, it's because an injured or unhealthy creature is unlikely to survive. Which suggests that if your Mooncalf was rejected from its herd, it was due to an aberration in behavior. The herd rejected Mooncalf for being different. Distinct possibility, if that's the case, it may prevent your Mooncalf from integrating with a new herd. Would you like to, what would you do if your friend of yours had trouble fitting in? Defend my friend, of course. If anyone bullies my mates, I'll make them regret it. Such an extreme reaction may not serve Mooncalf's best interests. You could, however, show your Mooncalf that you are on its side. With your support, it'll develop the confidence it needs and bring it out of its proverbial shell before introducing it to the herd. It sounds like your friend likes the idea. I'll bring Mooncalf to the forest now. Professor Kettlebourne said we should spend time together. Does that sound fun? Barnaby, what are you doing here? I heard you have got a mooncalf. You heard correctly, meet Mooncalf. Hagrid found Mooncalf alone in a field after the last full moon. I found all sorts of things after full moons, but never Mooncalf. What are you going to do? Hagrid asked me to help it. Jonah heard the Mooncalf's in the forest. Jonah Goops is harder than it looks. Professor Cuddlebone thinks Mooncalf was rejected by its horde. That's why it's important to build its confidence and make it feel comfortable. Alright, let's figure out how to help Mooncalf build confidence. That was beautiful. What do you think of the Mooncalf's dance? I agree with you. Mooncalf's dance was wonderful. Look how happy you made it. I suppose Mooncalf needed was a bit of encouragement. Look at this. Mooncalfs usually leave circular patterns when they dance, don't they? I think that's a circle. It's definitely not a circle. There's something unusual about Mooncalf's dance, and Professor Cuddlebone told me that creatures sometimes reject one of their own for being different. That's terrible. It's a theory. I can't say for certain. I've got to bring Mooncalf to Hagrid. How can I help you? It's about Mooncalf. Is something wrong with the little beast? Not quite sure. Leave behind circular patterns when they dance, don't they? Most muggles call them crop circles. Barnaby and I noticed that Mooncalf's dance doesn't produce a circle at all. But that shouldn't stop Mooncalf from a long, happy life. Not sure certain. I'm worried that Mooncalf won't be accepted by the Mooncalfs in the Forbidden Forest. Afraid that's possible. Beasts have been known to reject their own kind for less. That's the question. If you were in Mooncalf's place, would you try to fit in? If I were in Mooncalf's place, I wouldn't try to fit in. It's far more fun to be myself. But since Mooncalf can't tell us what it wants, I have to decide the best way to help it. If that means I've got to teach a Mooncalf to dance, then so be it. How exactly do you teach a Mooncalf to dance? Looks like Mooncalf is getting the hang of circles. You're a good teacher. I wish we had more time. Now that Mooncalf can dance in the circle, it's ready to advance to lessons. You could ask Professor McGonagall. I must have misheard you. I thought you said Professor McGonagall to teach Mooncalf to dance. She's wanted to teach ballroom dancing to students for years, expect she would love to. Can be somewhat circular, and that's exactly what Mooncalf needs. I'll send a note to Professor McGonagall and ask for her help. There's not much time left before the full moon. I've got to hurry. Good luck. Mooncalf's counting on you. Welcome. I presume this is the Mooncalf in need of a dance instruction. I want to introduce Mooncalf to a horde in the forest, but we are having a bit of trouble. It can't be solved by any other way. Usually you leave complex circular patterns in the fields. I'm a bit worried the horde won't approve. It's nearly time for the full moon, and I want to be sure Mooncalf puts his best foot forward. Thank you. I couldn't help but consider a selection of ballroom dances. What do you think? I do appreciate an enthusiastic student. Let us begin. It wouldn't be much of a dance class with only one student. Listen carefully, both of you. That concludes our lesson. Well done. I believe Mooncalf enjoyed the lesson. What about you? I found the lesson thoroughly enjoyable. I'm delighted to hear. Perhaps I'll have the opportunity again one day. All that matters is that Mooncalf has made considerable progress. Do you suppose it will fit in with the other Mooncalfs? Your Mooncalf will certainly dazzle the prospective horde. That complicates matters, but if your Mooncalf dances with confidence, I believe the performance will be spectacular. I'll be alright. I've got to burn Mooncalf to meet the horde tonight. I didn't expect to see all of you here. After all, tonight's Mooncalf's debut. Don't be anxious, and I'm sure the horde will like you. How do they defend themselves? Or do they not? They just run away? It experienced a bit of stage fright. You should say something. Here, Mooncalf, look at me. Don't you want to dance? Look how fun it is. See, there's nothing to it. That's right, you're doing wonderfully. I believe your method is working. Don't stop dancing. Not until Mooncalf finishes the dance. Chit-chit. Week, week, week. You did it, the whole accepted Mooncalf. It seems your friend isn't the only Mooncalf who dances to the beat of its own drum. What's wrong? It's just so beautiful. It's only a sight to behold. Thanks to you, Mooncalf has a family. Even though Mooncalf has a hold now, we'll be friends for life. Alright. There you are. Come over here and join us, would you? And Mr. Flinch and Mrs. Nose. It's not every day I see the two of you away from school grounds, let alone at the Three Boomsticks. Something tells me you didn't just invite me here for a friendly round of butterbeer. I'm afraid Mr. Flinch has brought a grave matter to my attention. What seems to be the problem? It's about my dear precious Mrs. Norris. She's being stalked by a vicious beast. It first appeared a few nights ago when we were returning from a visit to Madam Pintz. And the spooky creature has been following Mrs. Norris all around the school grounds ever since. Can you describe what the creature looks like? Mr. Flinch, from the way you have described the creature, I believe dear Miss Norris is being stalked by Matagot. They are usually quite friendly under normal circumstances, but a wild Matagot can be very dangerous under the wrong conditions. Well, if you were to feel threatened in any way, or if someone were to try to cast a spell against them, he was right to come and meet us here, far away from Hogwarts. Of course I was, and I'm not letting Mrs. Norris out of my sight until this matter's resolved. Hogwarts is a place where everyone should feel safe. That goes for students, faculty, and even pets. Where did you last see the Matagot? Looking around the training grounds. Alright, and Mrs. Noah should wait in the courtyard until it's safe. I'll head over to the training ground straight away to see if I can track down the stray Matagot. Hey Ben, you frightened me half to death. What are you doing out here? Trying to work on some defensive spells? The more important question, however, is what are you doing out here? Stray Matagots been stalking Mrs. Norris all around Hogwarts. I promised Hagrid and Mr. Flinch that I would search the school grounds to see if I could track it down. Now that's a frightful thought. At least that he last saw the creature looking nearby. I did see Chiara roaming off towards the Forbidden Forest earlier and thought that was unusual. But if you're asking if I've seen a fearsome creature looking around, no, then. I've been here all night and I haven't seen or heard as much as a peep. Do you think it could be the Matagot? I don't know. There's only one way to find out for sure. Let's search. Okay. There it is again over there. The sound is coming just behind the entranceway. There's a good chance it will be dangerous. How do you feel about encountering the creature? I'm feeling confident we can handle whatever's hiding behind that corner. If this Matagot is anything like Matagot, it's nothing to be scared of. Here it comes now. It's just a little black cat. You were right to be confident this creature seems fairly harmless. It did warn me that those creatures can be quite dangerous under the wand. Watch out. It's headed straight for the courtyard. I better go chase after the Matagot. It's just playing with Mrs. Norris. I followed your lead and went to the training grounds to track the Matagot, but when I did, the creature transformed into a scary beast and slipped away. All that matters is Mrs. Norris' safety, and right now she's in danger, so tell me. You leave Mrs. Norris alone, get out of here, you... It did not harm. Thank goodness you're safe. That was a close one. Thank you for saving Mrs. Norris. Wasn't even harming Mrs. Norris. It was just playing around. I really wish you hadn't scared that cute Matagot away. I know you have fondness for magical creatures, but it was terrorizing. That doesn't make any sense, no, based on what I've seen. What do you mean? I understand why it may have looked like that. See? Like, you guys are dumb. I don't get why I was so dumb. But I think you just have made a huge mistake. Let me get this straight. Are you saying this was all one big misunderstanding? You actually wanted to play with her, and that's precisely what I'm saying. The Matagot and Mrs. Norris are friends. I know this because I have spotted the two of them playing together several times. That's quite a surprise, Tris, though it wouldn't be the first time Miss Norris befriended a dangerous creature. She took her liking to my chimera. Possible this simply cannot be true. Don't be cross with me. I was only trying to protect you. We must correct this situation immediately. I refuse to stand idly by while my precious Mrs. Norris is upset. Since you are to blame for driving that Maggie Matagot away, I think it's only fair you be the one to get it back. You do see that you're responsible. This isn't my fault. You asked me to chase off the Matagot. I don't care to hear your excuses. All that matters is that Mrs. Norris is reunited with a friend. That may prove easier said than done. If I am to return Matagot to Mrs. Norris and reunite these two friends, win over the creature's trust. There's no time to waste. Very well, I'll go round up the Matagot. Hopefully he will help me bond with the creature. I suppose this here is the Matagot that's been chasing us, causing so much trouble. Turns out Mr. Flinch had it all wrong. The Matagot wasn't stalking Mrs. Norris, they are friends. It had me scared the Matagot away before we learned that, and now the creature doesn't trust me. Not much is plain for the eye to see. I need to figure a way to bond with the Matagot so I can bring it back safely to Mrs. Norris. Of course, when it comes to befriending magical creatures, you know I always enjoy a challenge. But one thing's for certain, you're not gonna make any progress with the Matagot in this agitated condition. I believe there's still hope for you, but if you really want to befriend the fickle creature, the first order of business will be reverting back to the friendly form. How am I supposed to do that? With a friendly gesture to show the Matagot you mean no harm. To prove the Matagot that we are friends, we can try offering it a bit of food. And hopefully once we do, that will set the Matagot at ease. Thanks for the tips, Murphy. All of these sound like really fun suggestions. You mentioned that cats love chasing after bright lights, and that just gave me a great idea. I can illuminate the tip of my wand and create a bright light and wave it around for the Matagot to chase after. But one remaining question on everyone's mind is, which spell are you going to cast illuminate to illuminate the tip of your wand? Yes, you are brilliant, and so is Lumos. The perfect charm to light the tip of your wand. Lumos. Look at the Neasel. Matagot is chasing my wand just as we suspected. No feline is able to resist the illuminated glow. It's almost as if Matagot is dancing with me. That hideous black cat is trying to attack you, good thing the most powerful witch. No, god damn it. Stupefy. You shouldn't have done that, Hagrid said. Casting spells against the Matagot would be a very bad idea. And now I understand exactly what Hagrid meant. In a surprising twist, the Matagot had rebuffed Mulus Knight's stunning spell, and in response, the creature appears to have multiplied into... But you You two won't be able to hide from Mulenstein for long. I'll drive you wretched creatures away from Hogwarts. God damn it, why didn't you actually stop her? You should have just casted Expelliarmus and took her on. I think our plane is walking the Matagot is shrinking back down to its friendly old self. Now that the Matagot's no longer alarmed, you can get the opponent woke of befriending it. Do you think it's safe to approach the Matagot? Why don't you go and give the creature a friendly pet? You're scaring the Matagot about that. I don't know what's gotten into him. Fan used to be scared of cats, you know. I suppose he's now overcompensating. No, I'm not upset, and it's a dog's nature to chase after cats. You do make a good point, and that's made me realize something. Sure, since this Matagot is clearly afraid of dogs, and it's been exhibiting other types of feline behavior as well, which I recognize from playing with my own cat. Perhaps I could learn more tricks for bonding with this Matagot if I spoke with another magical feline owner. That's a wonderful idea. And I think I know the perfect feline-friendly person you should talk to. Murphy McNully. He's got a pet Neasel named Nell, and I'm sure he'd be willing to help. I'll go reach out to Murphy now. And a move that no one saw coming has entered the classroom to team up with Hogwarts' one and only Quidditch announcer McNully. Thanks so much for agreeing to meet with me and for bringing Nell along too. It's my pleasure, though I must say I'm curious as a cat to find out what this is all about. Funny you should mention cats, because that's exactly the subject I wanted to speak with you about. I spent some time with my own Matagot, hoping that would give me insight, but this one's a little more wild. And since I've been noticing the Matagot is exhibiting a lot of feline behaviors similar to Chickwin, I thought you might be able to teach me some tricks to help appeal to the creature's cat-like instincts. Of course, here are some tips. There you are, you wretched beasts. You may have evaded me once, but this time you won't be so lucky. You are making a huge mistake. I know what I saw. The evil creature was trying to attack you, but tell me, why shouldn't I warn these creatures straight out of Hogwarts? I know it may not have looked that way, but the Matagot and I are actually friends. You're friends with the Matagot. I didn't realize you were so desperate for companions. Give me a chance to explain the situation, and hopefully I can convince you to not run these wonderful Matagots away. So, as you can see, Mr. Flinch had the same instincts about the Matagot as you, and that's why he asked me to scare it away. But after seeing it play with Mrs. Norris, he realized that he had misjudged the creature the same way you just misjudged the Matagot when you thought it was attacking me. My aunt raised me to think that black cats are evil and bring bad luck, so when I saw her, I assumed the worst. I didn't realize you were so superstitious about black cats. Mulenstein makes her own luck. Upon reconsideration, I have decided to allow these Matagots to stay on school grounds for now. I'm doing this for Mr. Norris, not you. Mula, of course you are. Let's feed these Matagots some treats to get them back to calm down a bit. And once I've taken a little more time to fully bond with these magical creatures, I can finally fulfill my promise to Hagrid and Mr. Flinch. If you ask me nicely, I may agree to accompany you to that play date. Not because I want to see some adorable creatures play or anything. Of course, you and all the Matagot's other new friends will be invited to the play date. Alright. Just as I promised, I finally befriended the Matagot so I could bring it back safely to Mrs. Norris, and already my precious pet seems much happier, so for that I am grateful. Though, if I'm not mistaken, there are somehow now 2 Matagots before me. It's a long story, perhaps I can tell it to you one day over some butterbeers at the Three Broomsticks. On the bright side, now Mrs. Norris has twice as many wonderful new friends to play with. Speaking of which, let's join these frisky creatures for some magical playtime. You did a brilliant job reuniting these cuddly creatures. Just look at how well they are all playing together. Thanks, Hagrid. It wasn't easy winning over the Matagot's trust after the way everything began. Fortunately, with your help, we were able to make the things right in the end and come around to see these magical creatures for the wonderful friends that they are. But the Matagots aren't the only wonderful friends with us in this here garden. Over the course of this adventure, you have proven yourself to be a true friend for these new companions. You have formed a fast friendship with the Matagots, and given the circumstances, I think it's best to stay here at Hogwarts so you and Mrs. Norris can visit your new friends whenever you like. When you do, be sure to invite your old friends to come along and play with the Matagots. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time, and peace.